Alright, so today I'm going to show you how to add, subtract, divide, and multiply fractions. So, first off, we're going to do some addition. So, let's say we have 3 over 4 plus 6 over 8. Alright, so you can't just add these two and say it's 9, 12. That wouldn't work. So what we first gotta do is we gotta find the lowest common multiple. So we have to make the denominator the same number. So what we would do is we multiply this by 2 to make it 8. And then this by 2 since we multiplied the bottom. So this is what it's going to look like. So 2 times 3 equals to 6. And 2 times 4 is equal to 8. And it's going to look like this. And then you're adding 6 over 8. And then this is just going to be these two together. So it'd be 12 over 8. You do not add the bottom ones. And then if you want to turn this into a mixed fraction, you can just subtract 8 from this. And then this would be 1. And then it would be 4 over 8. Or 1 and 1 over 2. Or you can simplify this a different way. Divide both these by their greatest multiple. So they both have a 4 that you can divide by. So 12 divided by 4 equal to 3. And then 8 divided by 4 is equal to 2. So it's also just 3 over 2. Pause for a second if you need to go figure it out. So let's do 3 over 5 plus 9 over 6. Alright, so the first step, as we know, we find a number that is, the lowest common factor. So it would be 30 in this case. And you'd find that by, going up like 6 plus 6 plus 6, or then 5 plus 5 plus 5, until you eventually get to a common number, and then, yeah, so on and so on. So with 3 over 5, how do we turn 5 into 30? We multiplied this number by 6. And once we multiply the bottom number, we also multiply the top number. So 3 times 6 is equal to 18, and then 6 times 5 is equal to 30. And then on the other side, how do we make this into 30? We're going to multiply 5 and 5. So what we got to do is 9 times 5 is equal to 45, and then 6 times 5 equals to 30. The bottom is the same. So now what you do is you add these numbers together. So what's 45 plus 18? That would be equal to 63 over 30. So you can actually simplify this. You could divide both these numbers by 3, and then you get 21 over 10. Fraction complete. Alright, I'm gonna give it another question. Make it slightly harder. Let's do 5 over 9 plus 2 over 3 plus 6 over 8. Alright, so the first step, find the common number. And the common number here would be 18. So, what do we do to this number? So we multiply by 2. So 5 times 2 equals to 10. And then 9 times 2 equals to 18. So we made that one. And let's do the next one. How do we turn 3 into 18? We do 3 times 6 equals 18. And then we get 2 times 6 since we multiplied the bottom number by 6. And then it would be 12. And then for the third one, how do we turn 6 into 18? We multiply both these numbers by 3. So we go 8 times 3 equals 24. And then 6 times 3 equals 18. The bottom number is all the same. That's what we want. So now all we have to do now is just add the 10, add the 12, and add the 24. And what we're gonna get is 46 over 18. And yeah, that's how you do multiple. And then you can simplify this if you want. Alright, so for subtraction, it's literally the same thing, just you subtract. So let's take 5 over 8 and subtract it by 2 over 4. Alright, so all we gotta do is turn these numbers the same. And what we do is multiply this one by 2, multiply this one by 2, then we get 4, and we get 8. So all we have to do now is just do 5 over 8, subtracted by 4 over 8. And as we know, nothing happens on the bottom. All we gotta do is just subtract the top numbers. So then we have 1 over 8. That's your final answer. Alright. Let's do another question. Let's say we have 15 over 20 minus 7 over, let's see, 15. Alright, what we got here, we gotta get the same number, of course. So what's a similar number? 60. So what do we do to get 60? We multiply by 3 on this side and multiply by 4 on this side. So we got 3 times 15, which is 45, over 60 subtracted by 28 over 60. Yeah, as we do. Same thing. Nothing on the bottom. And then we just subtract 45 minus 28, which is just gonna be 17 over 60. Yep. Alright, so now it's time to do some multiplication. Alright, so it's actually easier than subtraction or subtraction or addition. So here we go. So let's say you have 3 over 5 multiplied by 6 over 7. Alright, you don't actually have to change the numbers or anything. All you have to do is multiply these numbers and multiply these numbers. And that's easy. So 3 times 6 is equal to 18. And 5 times 7 is equal to 35. And yeah, you got it. Alright, so let's give another example. So you have 17 over 31 times 4 over 9. What do you do? It's literally the exact same thing. So 17 times 4 is equal to 68. And then 31 times 9 is equal to 279. Alright, so here's another multiplication question. Let's say you have 3 over 9 times 4 over 8. Again, we do the same thing, just multiply the top number and the bottom number. So we get 3 times 4 equal to 12, and 9 times 8 is equal to 72. But, although this is the correct answer, it's not simplified yet. So what we can actually do is check if they're both even numbers. If they're both even numbers, that guarantees that they're both divisible by 2. So I could just, divide this by 2. So it would be 6, divide 72 by 2, and that would be 36. But, alright, if you know that 36 is divisible by 6, you can just skip straight to dividing 6 by 6, which is just 1, and dividing 36 by 6, which is just 6. But if you don't know, like, if these are divisible by certain numbers, you could just keep divising by 2 if they're both even. So then this would just become 3, and then this would become 18. And then now that they're not both even numbers, you got to check if this is divisible by 3 now. This is the final step. So then, oh yeah, you can divide 18 by 3. So it would just be 1 over 6. Yeah, you got it. Multiplication, it's pretty easy. Actually easier than addition or subtraction. But for division, it's pretty simple as well. I'll show you right now. So what you gotta do is, let's say we have 10 over 8 divided by 15 over 7. Alright, you're like, how do I do this? First, you actually flip it. Make sure you keep the left like the same, alright? Like this. Do not flip the left. Keep it like that. But you turn the division into a multiplication, but you change these two numbers. So the bottom number becomes the top number, and the top number becomes the bottom number. And all you have to do is the division from earlier. So you get 10 times 7, which would be 70. And then you get 8 times 15, which would be 120. And then all you gotta do is, simplify. You can cancel out the zeros, because they're multiplying by 10s. So you're basically dividing by 10. And then you'd get 7 over 12. That's really it. Division is really easy. Alright, let's go to another division question, but it looks like a fraction instead. 3 over 8 over 3 over 8. You are like, what am I looking at? But if you just rearrange it, it's really just 3 over 8 divided by over 8. Which, as you guys know, you can flip this. So it'd be 3 over 8 times 8 over 3. Then you multiply these, you get 24 over 24. And if they're the same number, that equals to 1. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I showed you guys how to add, subtract, multiply, and divide. And hey, good luck out there on your math stuff.